Are you like me and frustrated with your circular knitting machine dropping stitches? Well, I used to fix a drop stitch, and then when I would crank new rows, that same stitch would drop again. So here is what I do. This is my drop stitch that has popped off of the needle and has dropped. So as you can see here, we have loops over these two small pegs. And this is what the machine normally has, but there's also a piece of yarn hooked under the needle. So when I crank this around, it pops that loop up and over the needle as the needle comes up. And then there's a new piece of yarn underneath the needle that goes down onto those two pegs, and it all gets like locked into place, making that knit stitch. But since I have a drop stitch, we want to fix this. So first thing I'm going to do when it gets to the yarn holder, I'm going to take the yarn and put it over the needle, because I don't want the needle grabbing any more yarn, because it will just start going in a loop and continue to drop stitches. Then I always like to fix the stitch when it's on the left side of my machine. So I crank it around until it gets almost back to the yarn holder, and then we're going to fix it. So I take my loom pick and remove if there is a loop around those two pegs, because we don't want that. And now there's no yarn underneath that needle as well anymore. And that's good. So we can now fix this loop. I take the loom pick to pick up the loop I do have, still intact with the stitches. Take my crochet hook and put it underneath those bars. Pick up the loop, put the bar over the loop, and then pull the loop over the bar. So bar over the loop, and then loop over the bar and the crochet hook. And we do this all the way till we get back up to the top, and this is how it's going to create the same looking knit stitches that the machine makes. That's why the crochet hook needs to be underneath. And so we're going to do this all the way up, take the bar over the loop, now pull the loop up and over the bar and the crochet hook. That bar is now your new loop. And so I'll do this just a couple more times till all we're left with is a loop left on our crochet hook. And why I like doing this on the left side of the machine, if I do it on the right side of the machine, I'll start cranking my rows and I will forget that I had fixed the stitch, and it will just drop it again. And I'll show you why. Here I'm at my last one where I take the loop, put it over the bar and the crochet hook. Now that I have this loop, I'm going to put this loop back on the two little pegs of this needle. And it's really easy to do this if you have a loom pick. If you don't have a loom pick, use a paper clip that you undo, so you have just something with a little bit of an angle to hold down the yarn over those pegs. If you don't hold this loop down as we crank it, it's just going to pull up the needle as we crank around, and it will pop that loop right off of the needle and the pegs. There's nothing for it to lock into, so it will just continue to drop your stitch again. So hold that loop down that you just put on, and now let the needle come up through that, keeping that loop down onto those two pegs. And then let the needle catch the new yarn through your yarn holder. And then now when that needle goes down, everything is going to be locked into place when it catches that needle. And then when you continue to crank your rows, everything is going to continue to lock in place and make the knit stitches. So that's why I do it on the left side before we get to the yarn holder, so I can just make sure I hold that loop down and then everything gets caught correctly and locked into place. If I fix the stitch on the right side of the yarn holder, I always seem to forget that I fixed the stitch, or I'll forget which needle I fixed the drop stitch on, and then the needle will come up, it will pop off that loop, and then I have the same issue and I am fixing drop stitches. So I hope this helps, and if you're having issues with drop stitches, hopefully give this a try, getting everything locked into place and doing it on the left side so you can hold down the loop and make sure the needle catches the new yarn and locks everything into place. I hope this video helps. Please like and follow and subscribe for more content, and happy crafting.